While superheroes, monsters, and aliens battle on the big screen, a real-life fight is raging behind the scenes that will determine what our digital entertainment will be in the next 10 years. The war is going on between cinema and video streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and others. First off, cinema is not a static beast. It's a medium that is constantly evolving, and that evolution continues to be shaped by technological advancement, as it has always been. Indeed, just as technology has allowed the processes of filmmaking and distribution to evolve up to streaming services, so too has it caused a fundamental shift in the way audiences choose what to watch and where to watch in the first place. Imagine you are in a situation to make a choice to watch a movie, so you have two options. First, go to cinema and pay $13 for a movie ticket, plus $17 for popcorn and a drink, so $30 to watch this abomination called Robin Hood 2018. Basically a medieval people and crusaders with their Gucci scarves, Louis Vuitton bags, and Tom Ford coats. And the second option is to sign up to Netflix and HBO for $24 and watch all the seasons of Game of Thrones, including the ongoing last season, plus hundreds of movies, original series across these two platforms anytime, including Netflix's An Outlaw King, which I think was a masterpiece compared to Robin Hood, and even much better than some blockbusters that are in cinemas. On the top of that, all of these for 1 month and just for $24. Watching Robin Hood, I personally felt robbed in every sense of the word. Sure, not all the films are bad in movie theaters and good in streaming sites, but bad movies inject distrust to pay the cinemas for a single movie and scares people to go there unless the movie is from public trusted studios, like MCU or DC. This is where the real threat to cinema comes in. Supply and demand is a pretty simple concept. For example, iPhones are $1,000. People who want and can afford them are willing to pay the amount. If iPhones were $200, there will be a significant amount of people in line to buy, and Apple couldn't meet the demand. Similarly, if Apple priced iPhones at $3,000, they would have much harder time selling out their stock. For iPhones, supply and demand have more or less met at a price equilibrium. Cinema market is where supply and demand just doesn't hold. From 2000 to 2019, average movie ticket prices has risen by 100% and outpacing inflation more than half. And on the upcoming age of video streaming services, laws of supply and demand will not stand for it. Even though 2017 was the worst year for cinema in North America, globally box office revenue was up 3% after reaching an all-time high $39.9 billion. Ticket prices are rising non-stop. One of the factors that are keeping up the cinema revenue and tickets are superhero movies. The 6 major superhero movies released in 2017 combined to gross more than $4 billion in worldwide ticket sales. The trend continued in the first half of 2018, with the 3 superhero movies ranking in the top 5 most popular cinematic releases. However, beyond these blockbusters, the picture looked grim for the movie industry. Overall, the ticket sales declined by 6% year over year, the lowest figure in over 2 decades. Furthermore, less than 20% of major movies released during the year were able to recoup their production and marketing costs. The decline has been consistent over the last 9 years, with the US theater attendance posting a negative compound annual growth rate of 2% between 2000 and 2017. It may be rising ticket fees and concession prices, and most importantly, alternative cheaper entertainment preference as Netflix, Amazon Prime Video are one of the factors for this downturn, as video streaming services are seeing skyrocketing growth. If the film studios want to stop shedding moviegoers, they need to find a way to lower the ticket price. Movie theaters keep only a small percentage of ticket sales, which is why they charge so much for concessions. The price gouging starts with the movie makers, and unless they come up with a better, cheaper way, streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, and others are going to stop them cold. As it stands, $12 average cost of one movie ticket is exactly how much a person has to spend for an entire month of unlimited streaming. It's virtually impossible to compete with that unless you make a blockbusters like Star Wars or Avengers. Naturally, the increase in ticket costs has been paralleled by the increase in movie budgets. From 2005 to 2006, when the cost to produce a movie jumped 3%, the cost of an average movie ticket jumped 2%. From 2006 to 2007, when the cost to produce and market a movie jumped 6%, the cost of an average movie ticket jumped a little more than 5%. Movie tickets are expensive because movies are expensive. Today, most of the money goes to marketing costs of the movies. So you are paying more money for your ticket just because it's been advertised to you. So you are partially paying the cost of the ads for the movie you are watching. But that's a different story with the streaming sites. For example, a Netflix film An Outlaw King's budget is $120 million, a significantly higher amount than the usual Netflix film. But the subscription price does not change regardless of the movie's budget. Another advantage of streaming, expensive movie doesn't necessarily mean a good movie. Shawshank Redemption, Schindler's List, The Godfather, Pulp Fiction, all these great movies were each produced in under $40 million in today's money. As streaming companies mostly produce low and mid-budget movies, they have more chance to gain a prestige and awards, and less chance to lose interest, because they are also doing high-budget, eye-catching movies as well. Streaming sites may not be totally killing movie theaters, but they are definitely killing low and mid-budget films on movie theaters, which directly affects the cinema business. Cinema business is in the situation where there are already suggestions replacing it. Tech entrepreneurs proposed a new venture called Screening Room, which will bring first-run movies into living rooms. Screening Room will not be as simple as downloading an app. Customers first will have to purchase hardware for $150, designed to prevent films being pirated as well as stream the movie to televisions. That hardware box will provide day-and-date access to new movies with a 48-hour rental, each movie costing $50. Theater owners have given it thumbs down because it will cut into their business. Screening Room is mostly good for those who have kids and can't get out to watch movies in cinema. It's also good for those who don't like annoying, waving, texting, noise-making people in cinemas. But I already see people calling 20 friends and charging them by $5 and making business out of it. Right now, the Screening Room is like a hustler's dream. This may happen or not. The biggest conglomerate in the Hollywood, Disney, is joining the chat in the streaming business. Even though it partially owns Hulu, Disney is investing on its own streaming service, calling it Disney Plus, starting its initial subscription price just for $7 a month. The strategy behind this is very simple. First, for the initial launch, they want to attract more customers with lower price, impressively almost half the price what Netflix offers, but they will gradually higher the subscription price anyway, but not as much as what Netflix offers. Sure, it's obviously after Netflix's pie, but not only Netflix should be worried about that. Movie theaters as well. If Disney will invest more in its mid-budget films and cut the budget for the blockbusters and put them on its streaming service, it will be another kick in the face of the cinema. Regardless, the cinema will always be home for the blockbuster movies. Blockbusters are the real money-making machines for studios and cinemas. And in streaming services, blockbusters do not make anywhere near close to what they do in cinemas. From the social perspective, the competition of cinemas is not Netflix, it's not internet at all, it's sporting events, it's bowling, and it's nightclubs. Going to cinema is mostly an outing event. From the business point of view, movie theaters do not care about the movies. All they care is filling the rooms regardless the quality of the movie. It's the studios who should be very careful about the upcoming age of movie streaming. While studios and movie theaters are existentially correlated, one cannot sustain without the other. If studios will keep feeding the cinema with Avengers-level superhero movies and blockbusters, cinema will never die. Two forms of entertainment consumption, streaming and cinema, will be more complementary to each other than cannibalistic. Throughout history, it's rare for an entire form of entertainment completely die off. And some people like Steven Spielberg, who's on the crusade against video streaming, like to watch movies at movie theaters, on a big screen, in a wraparound sound system, and in a total cinematic atmosphere. Films that everyone was convinced were doomed come off as hilarious comedies if you are in a crowd that is laughing. And likewise, films you think are great work seem terrible if you are in a crowd that doesn't like it. For example, I can sit at home and watch pretty much any sporting events anywhere in the world and get better experience of the match than I can live in person. My view is better, the graphic treatment on the screen and commentary is more informative, it's more convenient, it's cheaper, it's more comfortable, and yet millions of people go to sporting events in person every year for that demonstrably inferior experiences, strictly for that feeling of communion with other people. As long as movie theaters and studios can continue to capitalize on that with strict rules on mobile phones and noisy people, they should always be able to carve out a niche in the entertainment landscape. The medium of cinema may have evolved, but the pace of evolution of movie theaters has failed to match that technology and consumption. To be clear, it's not incumbent upon audiences to preserve the theater-going experience. It's incumbent upon movie theaters to serve the needs of the audiences they wish to attract. Otherwise, audiences will find all but their event movies elsewhere. That's how basically market forces work. Ultimately, movie theaters need to stop competing on mediocre convenience between each other and start focusing on customer experience. Death of the movie theaters will not be streaming services. It's overly expensive food, it's high ticket prices, talking, texting people, overestimated mediocre movies. These are the real killers of movie theaters. Just as the expansion of TVs and TV shows didn't kill cinema for 50 years, it dramatically changed how cinema is. And now we are in a time period where streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, and others will force cinema to evolve into something better. Thanks for watching, support this channel on Patreon, it would really help to increase the quality in the videos. And if you have been watching, we have been doing series how to make space access cheap or alternative spacecraft launch. We will continue that series right after the new upcoming video that I have been producing along with this one. If you like the videos, please do subscribe and hit the like button, and have a nice day.